Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanzom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 20th of April. India reports record daily COVID-19 death toll, many cities in lockdown. Pakistan asks Taliban to stay engaged in Afghan peace process. And Nepal issues fresh guidelines amid surging COVID-19 cases. And now for all the details. India reported 1,761 deaths from COVID-19 overnight, its highest daily toll, with large parts of the country now under lockdown, as the country battles a second wave that has left people fighting for hospital beds, oxygen and medicines. In the view of the rising COVID-19 cases in the country, Indian government has announced that from May 1st, everyone above the age of 18 years would be eligible to get the vaccination against the virus. Major areas in Indian capital New Delhi wore a deserted look on Tuesday morning as the city observed the first day of its week-long lockdown. Officials hope this will slow the virus transmission and relieve the pressure on the healthcare infrastructure. Most roads were barricaded with police presence to enforce strict lockdown and not allowing people to step out. To curb COVID-19 spread, several Indian cities are also under lockdown. On Tuesday, the Health Ministry reported 259,170 new infections, the world's highest daily rate. Total coronavirus cases in India are now at 15.32 million, second only to the United States.
हर थाने में साउथ ईस्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कम से कम 3 पिकेट्स हैं जहां पे इंस्पेक्टर्स रहेंगे सीनियर ऑफिसर्स के साथ में, और इसके अलावा जो स्ट्रेटेजिक लोकेशंस हैं या अंदर जहां हमें एंटिसिपेट कर रहे हैं कि भीड़ रहेगी या सब्जी मंडी है या फिर सराय का लेखा जैसा बस अड्डा है, तो इन सब पे हमने जो है वो अलग से इंतजाम करे हैं और एक्स्ट्रा फोर्स भी यहाँ लगाई है। अनाउंसमेंट का अरेंजमेंट हमने इन सब जगह पे कराया है।
Country's financial capital Mumbai, which has been following curfew-like restrictions for the past few days along with the rest of the state, was seen largely deserted. According to media reports, several major cities are already reporting far larger numbers of cremations and burials under coronavirus protocols than official COVID-19 death tolls. Meanwhile, in the view of rising COVID-19 cases in the country, the government on Monday announced that from May 1st, everyone above the age of 18 years would be eligible to get the vaccination against the virus. Vaccine manufacturers have been permitted to release up to 50% of their supply to state governments and in the open market at a pre-declared price. So far, 108.5 million people have received a first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, according to a government portal, a small portion of India's 1.3 billion population. India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said on Monday that China brought enormous force to the border without provocation, referring to months-long border standoff between the two countries in the Himalayan region of Ladakh. Jaishankar emphasized the need for return to peace and tranquility at the border is needed for diplomatic ties to normalize.
India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said on Monday that China brought enormous force to the border without provocation last year, as he emphasized the need for return to peace and tranquility at the line of actual control. Jaishankar, speaking during a virtual national leadership conclave, pointed that for last 40 years, India and China have had peace and tranquility on border, and for diplomatic ties to normalize, peace and stability is a necessary step.
The Chinese, with no provocation, brought an enormous force to the border, as you all know. Now, the point is very, very simple. This is not rocket science. You cannot completely sort of disrupt the peace and tranquility on the border and then carry on with the rest of the relationship. I've been saying it for the last year and I will continue to say it. It has not changed.
The military standoff began in April 2020 when India said Chinese troops had intruded deep into its side of the line of actual control in Ladakh. The two nuclear-armed giants in February this year began to pull back troops and battle tanks from the bitterly contested Pangong Lake area after several rounds of talks.
Pakistan has urged the Taliban to remain engaged in the Afghan peace process after the armed group said it would now shun summits about Afghanistan until all foreign forces leave. The United States said last week it would withdraw all troops by September 11 this year, later than a May 1 deadline set out by the previous administration.
Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi on Monday urged the Taliban to remain engaged in the Afghan peace process after the armed group said it would now shun summits about Afghanistan until all foreign forces leave. The decision was taken after the United States said last week it would withdraw all troops by September 11 this year, later than a May 1 deadline set out by the previous administration. In an interview with Reuters in Abu Dhabi, Qureshi said, "They take their own decisions, but we will do whatever we can to convince them that it is in their national interest to remain engaged." The refusal has thrown the peace process into disarray, with Turkey scheduled for Saturday to host a summit that diplomats had hoped could create new momentum towards a political settlement between the Taliban and Afghan government. Pakistan, which helped facilitate US-Taliban negotiations in Doha that resulted in the initial May 1 withdrawal deal, wields considerable influence with the Taliban. The insurgents have sanctuaries in Pakistan, whose main military-run intelligence service gives them support, according to US and Afghan officials. Pakistan denies the allegation. Qureshi said he feared violence could escalate if the peace process remains deadlocked, plunging Afghanistan into civil war and leading to an exodus of Afghans.
Moving on, the contract and contingent employees of different government departments in Gilgit-Baltistan have been staging a protest sit-in outside the Chief Secretary's office demanding regularization of services. According to the workers, the last PMLN government had passed the Job Regularization Act in 2020. However, the incumbent PTI government wasn't implementing the law. A large number of contingent employees, including women serving in different government departments in Gilgit-Baltistan, a region under Pakistan's illegal occupation, recently organized a sit-in protest seeking regularization of their jobs. Camped outside Chief Secretary's office, the protesters pointed out that the last PMLN Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz government had passed the Gilgit-Baltistan Contingent and Contractual Employees Regularization Act in Gilgit-Baltistan Assembly in 2020. They said time and again the government had assured them to implement the act and issue appointment letters to all the contingent and contractual employees, but to no avail. However, the incumbent PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government, wasn't implementing the law, they said.
अभी हमारे सब्र का पैमाना लबरेज हो चुका है। अभी उस वक्त तक हम धरने से उठने वाले नहीं हैं। चाहे पूरा रमज़ान भी इधर हमें बैठना पड़े, हम इधर अपने हक के लिए डटे रहेंगे। जब तक हमारे ऑर्डर्स लाकर यहाँ हमारे हाथ में नहीं देंगे, तब तक हम यहाँ से उठने वाले नहीं हैं।
The protesters vowed to continue the agitation till acceptance of their demands. Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal's COVID-19 infections tally has reached 285,900 with 3,091 deaths reported so far. In the wake of the recent wave, authorities have issued fresh guidelines while closing down schools and limiting operating hours for businesses until next month.
Nepal's COVID-19 infections tally has surged to 285,900 after 1,227 new cases were reported across the country, while the death toll reached 3,091 with 8 more people succumbing to coronavirus. Among the total cases that surfaced on Monday, Kathmandu district holds the highest number of new infections, 505. Lalitpur reported 97, whereas 32 new cases were reported from Bhaktapur. The 3 districts were listed among 24 high-risk districts in the country. In the wake of the recent wave, authorities have announced closure of all educational institutes until May 14. Likewise, hotels and restaurants will be allowed to operate only for 12 hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Furthermore, no more than 25 people would be allowed to gather at one place at one time. The Health Ministry has expressed concern that following the second wave of the coronavirus, the daily infection tally is being witnessed above 1,000 since the past 3 days.
Moving on to news from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's Supreme Court has commenced hearing of 19 petitions filed by various parties challenging the constitutionality of the Colombo Port City Economic Zone's Special Commission Bill. The petitions will be heard by a 5-judge bench. 19 petitions have been filed so far against the bill, titled the Colombo Port City Economic Commission Act. It provides legal framework for setting up of special economic zone within the Colombo Port City and proposes the establishment of a commission empowered to grant registrations, licenses, authorizations and other approvals. 6 years after breaking ground, the Colombo Port City, the largest foreign direct investment in the island nation, is reshaping the local economy, generating new opportunities for regional development, according to the Sri Lankan government. Shopkeepers in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir have been witnessing a surge in the sales of dates and other dry fruits amid the ongoing holy month of Ramadan. Demand of dates is exponentially high as people purchase its different varieties, which are consumed as part of their special meal when they break their fast in the evening.
Shopkeepers in Srinagar city of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir have been witnessing a surge in the sales of dates and other dry fruits that are consumed during the day-long fasting in the holy month of Ramadan. During the month of Ramadan, the demand of dates is exponentially high as people purchase different varieties of dates, which are a sweet treat at iftar, a special meal Muslims have while breaking their fast in the evening. Ramadan lasts for 29 or 30 days and ends with the Eid al-Fitr celebrations.
खजूर तो रमज़ान में बहुत ख़रीदारी होती है। ये बहुत सारी जगहों से आता है, ये गल्फ़ से आता है, ईरान से आता है, इराक़ से आता है, सऊदी से आता है, बहुत सारी मक्का मदीने से आता है, बहुत सारी वैराइटीज़ होती है इसमें और प्रेफर करते हैं और सुन्नत रमज़ान में तो ज़्यादा कंज्यूम होता है।
Ramadan is the 9th of the 12th month in the Islamic calendar. Muslims are required to refrain from eating, smoking, drinking liquids, etc. between dawn and dusk during Ramadan.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India reports record daily COVID-19 death toll, many cities in lockdown. Pakistan asked Taliban to stay engaged in Afghan peace process. And Nepal issues fresh guidelines amid surging COVID-19 cases. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.